Alrighty. Hey everyone. It is Tyler Flagg Flying Company. This is episode 2 of the Gouge series. And I got my buddy Joe Ryan from Wings Insurance. Hey buddy, how you doing?
Hey, Tyler, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah, man, anytime. So all right, quick a little bit about yourself, Wings Insurance, and how you got into doing all this.
Yeah. Yeah. UND grad all the way back, chief pilot for a flight school and corporate guy, airline guy. So a lot of experience there. And kind of was looking for something else. And after about 4 or 5 years in the airlines, and found Wings, which was great in my hometown, Minnesota, and really respected the guys that were already there. And so, insurance wasn't something that I dreamed about as a baby, but it's been awesome. It's been awesome just because of that aviation piece.
Yep.
Really enjoyed it. Working a lot of turbine risks, owner flown, pro flown, high value transitions, some rotor stuff, fleets, flight schools, etc. So it's been great.
Okay, super cool. And yeah, no, it's neat. I don't know what percentage of insurance brokers have a significant like actually piloting background. Very
Yeah,
interesting kind of career progression there. And you are the perfect person to talk to about this because what we're going to focus on is just like a quick and dirty like 15-minute like what are the most important things that a pilot or like a new chief pilot or a pilot who just took a job as an aircraft manager and finally has to worry about insurance for the very first time needs to know, right? And so my background, right, like I was an Air Force guy for 14 years, never had to worry about insurance at all. Like that's just not a
hmm
thing in that world. And then take a job as a chief pilot, and all of a sudden like that is something that is thrust upon me that I know nothing about. So this is probably something that I should have done like 4 years ago, but we're doing it now for anyone else that can
we're doing
benefit.
it.
So okay, so aircraft insurance policy, let's start at the very top. Whole value, what exactly is that?
Yeah, it's an agreed value. So it's the value that you're going to get paid if there's a total loss of the aircraft. So you want to make sure the key here is make sure that value is standard with where it should be in the industry. Don't be too low, don't be too high. There's no need. There's some issues with over or under insuring, but just make sure it's standard. Talk to somebody, right? Um, Talk to your broker. And they'll connect you with somebody. Talk to somebody who sells them. Just make sure it's accurate.
Okay, and
Within 20%.
um so is that like more an act of art or science? Like is it just like the purchase price that you buy it for? Is it the market value? Is it some combination of both of those things? Like how does the kind of the negotiation work if it's the first time that you're getting a policy and you're working with your broker?
Yeah. You know, Typically what you're going to want to do is make sure that it's market value. That's
Okay.
what you're going to want to do. So that's the simplest answer there.
Okay.
Um,
And does
is
that number change from year to year? I mean, is it kind of up to you? Like if you own the plane for 5 years, are you changing that every single year, or just keeping it the same?
You have the opportunity to change it every year or more often if you need to, right?
Okay.
A lot of times you'll maybe put equipment in or whatever else. You go through an upgrade, right?
Okay.
Interior, maybe avionics, et cetera. So you can update that at any
Okay.
time.
Perfect.
Usually once a year, take a look.
Okay, great. So whole premium, so that's the amount that you're paying for that whole value every
Yeah,
year. Okay, perfect.
well said.
Liability limit. What do we need to know about that?
Yeah, this is a big topic of conversation, especially with, you know, incidents, accidents, jury awards, etc. This is something you want to work with your broker on, right? There's some things here that are going to affect this exponentially. So, your owner might come to you and say, "Hey, last year we had, 50 million. Why can we only get 25 million on this aircraft, et cetera?" So know which levers affect this is important, working with your broker in that regard. Dual crew, single pilot, right? That's going to affect things. Age of aircraft will affect things, right? Um, so pilot qualifications, that's all going to affect things. So make sure you know what's affecting it. Your broker can tell you that,
Okay.
and then you know how to adjust if you
Okay.
need to.
Great. Deductibles. What is a deductible, and what's the difference between in motion and non-motion?
Yeah, it's deductible is what you're going to pay in the event of a loss, right? You pay that first. Insurance pays after that. Not emotion, just like it sounds. Hanger falls on it. That's a not in motion claim. Aircraft sitting there. In motion, it's moving, right? Taxiing, taking off, flying, etc. You're paying that deductible. Those things are negotiable.
Okay,
So that's
perfect.
a key.
Okay, and so medical payments and then passenger voluntary settlements. Like, what is the difference between that and just like the liability stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good one. Passenger voluntary settlement, also called gas voluntary settlement or GSV. This one is basically no fault. So it's a payout for passengers, can include crew or not include crew, and it pays out without having to go through a suit, essentially. So you don't
Oh,
have to
got
go
it.
through the
Okay,
full suit. You can actually just get paid out that amount, and that's negotiable as well. And it also can provide a disability wage benefit as
okay,
well, which is not commonly known.
okay. Interesting. Nice. All right. War and TRIA. Is that TRIA? Is that TRIA? Is there?
Yeah, yep, it's exactly right.
Okay.
Terrorism Risk Insurance Act.
Okay.
Fancy. It's just a terrorism coverage provided by the government. War risk. War risk is just not is provided by the underwriters. Terrorism coverage provided by the underwriter, and it covers more things. So tree is going to be less expensive typically. War is going to be more expensive because war covers more things.
Got it. Okay. Um, exclusions, carve outs, different countries. What do pilots need to be paying attention to as far as that is concerned? Is it really just like a, hey, I know that the principal occasionally likes to go to this country, so let me find out if there needs to be some sort of carve out or exclusion for that.
Yeah, yeah. Territory is important. Uh, Most territories are fairly broad when it comes to the turbine world. There's obviously some sanctioned countries issues. So yeah, talk to your broker. If you have a question on it, you don't know where to find the policy, talk to your partner who's trying to make you look good, right?
Yeah.
Use your resources there. Big carve outs though, FOD, usually not included unless you can be, um, unless it can be associated with a particular event. Think, sucking in a cowl plug. So sucking a cowl plug requires immediate attention, obviously.
Yeah.
That's going to be typically a covered event. If you go in for a hot section, right? Oop, they find out, hey, you got some FOD damage in here. Not a relatable event, right? You can't tie
Yeah.
that to a specific event. Typically, it's not covered.
Got it.
So hot
Okay.
starts, light con and quality, you got it.
Awesome. Okay. Makes sense. All right. Open pilots and named pilots. So open pilot warranty has a couple different names. Sometimes it's like, pilot warranty endorsement or whatever. What exactly is an open pilot warranty?
Yeah. It's the insurance company saying basically, we don't care who flies as long as they meet our rules.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
typically that's going to be, total hours, multi-engine, turbojet, and then time and type.
Exactly right. It's going to be a set of rules. They meet that, they're good to go. The catch here is make sure the training. There's always a training component here,
Got it.
so make sure that's met.
And then sometimes there's like an ATP versus commercial kind of distinction as well. Are there any other
Absolutely.
things that you kind of see in there from time to time?
No, that's about it.
That's about it. Okay.
Yeah, that's about it. But it's always restrictive.
Okay. Are those like standardized hours across the board, or does like literally every single policy have just like some kind of different, hours requirement?
It's all different. It
Okay.
really is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What is the difference between that and a named pilot?
Yeah. So the named pilot here is going to get some more provision. So that actually you need to go through the rigmarole with your broker, get the pilot form, send it to your broker. They'll get with underwriting. They'll get the pilot named. There could be a charge. Depends on the experience. If they're very low time, right? There could be
Okay.
a charge for that. So that's a key. But they get some more liability protection sometimes in the policy. So that's a key there. That a named
Okay.
pilot can get some more liability protections.
Okay. And what does that typically look like if that is happening and it is actually written into the policy?
Yeah, it would look something like who is an insured, right? So in the definitions of the policy, which, it's a 100-page document. So if you don't want to read through it, just call your broker. But that definition is going to say, who is an insured, anyone flying the aircraft who meets our whatever, or the named insured, right? Or their employees or their spouse or whatever else, right? So there's a lot of different definitions there, but that's where it'll be. definitions section, named insured. Who is a named insured?
Okay, got it. Waiver of subrogation. What is that?
Yeah, that's a waiver, obviously, but it takes away the company's right, so the underwriter's right to go after someone to recoup losses, someone or something, a company or a person, to recoup losses that they potentially even incurred. So, a lot of times, a good example here is a big FBO. You're going to give them a waiver, right? You'll see that on policies. You give a waiver subrogation. That means you can't go after them even if they damage something with a tug, which is a common
Got it.
issue.
Okay, perfect. All right, let me see. What else do we want to talk about? Okay, so renewal prep. Or actually, let's just before we get into the renewals, let's go into the very first time that you get a insurance policy. There's a new plane, and what exactly is the expectation there? They reach out to you. In that this could be the chief pilot, this could be the aircraft manager, this could be the owner operator. They reach out to you. What exactly does that look like? What does this individual who's coming to you need to do in order to be best prepared for that experience and make it go as well as possible?
Yeah. The easy thing to say here is paperwork, but in all honesty, paperwork's just a part of life. The real thing is understanding what you want to do and where you want to go. So, what's the goal here, right? Here you go. You've got a new aircraft. We're going to get it insured. We're going to get the paperwork done. No
Yeah,
problem, right?
yeah,
The key here is having understanding of, okay, who might my pilots be? Um, what limits might me and the owner have talked about that we're looking for? You can have a conversation with the broker then to talk about what's available, how you might get those limits, right, and move things around. So that's easy. But having an idea of, hey, here's the territory we're going to. Are they taking their employees? Are they not taking their employees? Right? Is it family, friends, et cetera? So having that conversation about some of those details. What's the usage like? That's important. Have that conversation. The paperwork will get done.
okay, great. Going into renewals every year, when should pilots be starting that process, reaching out to you, and then what exactly is happening like behind the scenes when you're coming up on a renewal?
Yeah. Usually we initiate things about the 90-day period. That's when we kind of start working on things. We all know that people don't like filling out paperwork. I don't like filling out paperwork. So we try to get it early. Um, Having a conversation first, I think is really important. Whether it's around that 90-day, 60-day, mark, kind of in that range of just saying, hey, here's what we did. It was a great year. Here's what happened. And here's what we want to do now for our renewal. Hey, we want to change this haul value. Or what do you think about that? Right? What do you think about the haul value over here? What do you think about changing these limits? What do you think about, here's what our owner said they want to go to this territory now. We only have North America, right? But they're planning a couple Europe trips. How do we get that done, right? How do we do, what liability limits do we need, et cetera? Can we do it on a, one-time basis across the board, et cetera? So that's a good time. 90, 60 days, somewhere in there. Have the phone conversation, pick up the phone and do that.
Okay, great. In the event of an issue, and there needs to be some sort of claim, there's some sort of incident, hanger rash, bird strike, whatever. Um, what's the first thing that pilots should be doing? I mean, it's like aside from whatever other the actual like issue itself,
Yeah,
like as far as insurance is concerned, what does the pilot need to do?
absolutely. No problem. Yeah. So calling us, that's the number one thing you should do first. Call us, especially with a reasonable claim like this that isn't catastrophic, right? So it's not, it's something that obviously sucks. Um, but call us, we can help you. We can kind of walk you through, hey, here's your next steps. Here's your action steps. We've seen this stuff before. We see this a lot. Potentially for the manager or the new chief pilot, it might be their first time kind of running point, and they might want some backup. They might want somebody who's there to make them look
Yep.
good. And that's what we're there to do. So we'll help them. We'll walk them through it. That's the first call. Um,
Okay, great. And then how long does that whole process take? I mean, I'm sure it depends on the actual incident itself, but like let's just say something like a bird strike, right? Like from the time that
yeah,
they reach out to you to the time that it's all resolved. Um, but what do
yeah.
you what do you typically see?
Oh gosh, it can vary anywhere from months. up to, if it's super complicated, that can go up to a year. We've seen claims that have gone longer than a year, just because they can't source certain parts. They got to
Okay.
build a specific thing to house the aircraft. But usually a couple months, usually maybe less, right? If a maintenance provider can get them in right away, adjuster says looks good, it's done, right?
Okay.
So just depends on the damage um, and just maybe one more thing on there, if you don't mind.
Of course.
What I would
Yeah.
say is we focused maybe on the uh, not as big of an issue claims, right? So obviously these are issues for operational, but I think in significant claims, which we see as well, right? Which is maybe your runway overruns, maybe your more significant losses, your catastrophic losses. Um, I think a big thing here is having a good ERP that you've built with your broker, an emergency response plan,
Okay.
and implementing that. So I just wanted to note that I think that's important for a new chief, especially or a manager, is knowing what you're going to do if something like that happens, what your website's going to
Yep.
do, who's talking to the media, or are you talking to the media, right? Are you talking to next of kin? Who's doing that? Are you not talking to next of kin? So really important to have that. It's not doesn't take long, but gosh, going back to framework, right? We're all pilots. We go back to our training, right? So having that's important.
Awesome. Okay. This has been great, man. We are at time. Is there anything else that I missed that you want to bring up?
I would say just understand your broker's trying to make you look good, right? From an insurance perspective, I think that's the key. Um, so just understanding that we're there to help.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe, man. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Bye.